Now. Okay. Can everyone see my slides?
I don't.
No.
Now?
It's loading.
Yeah.
And we can see it.
Oh, yes,
Thank you.
finally.
Perfect. Okay, then a warm welcome from me, everyone. It's good to see you all, many familiar faces. For the ones that don't know me or haven't seen me that much, my name is Annick Tiet. I am a network coordination officer working together with Risa. I am going to be the host of this meeting, and it's great to have you all and see you all here. And I'm excited to hear all about the Member Network updates. It's also it's a good time to hear from all of you and have a bit more time to discuss what has been going on in each of your countries. I just quickly wanted to start by discussing the meeting outline. We are going to start with a few opening remarks by Kareem. But unlike the Member Network meeting that we had before, where we had the PSHEA team presentation, this one is really to focus on you, on the incredible things that you are doing as Member Networks, and that inspires us as a team daily and guides our work. And yeah, we look forward to seeing your insights and your lessons learned. So we planned after the Member Network updates, we planned about 20 minutes for Secretariat updates and the areas of network assessment, impact reporting, communications, and knowledge management. But yeah, you know the deal, I'd say. And finally, I just wanted to say 2 quick words about tools. Please do stay muted if you're not speaking. Unmute yourself at any time or raise your hand if you want to say anything. There's a reaction button down at Zoom. Please feel free to use that. Happy to see your reactions to all of our Member Network presentations. So react, share hearts, share applause. Do feel free to turn on your cameras, maybe also the CBI team. We see each other not that often, so it's always good to see the faces. And write in the chat, engage, ask questions anytime. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you. I'm looking forward to this meeting, and I'm going to give it over to Kareem now for some introductory remarks.
Thank you, Annick. And hi, everybody. I'm trying to see who's on. It's great to see you all. Siriani, Veron, Abu Naeem, Iliu, Karunesh, Raisha, Rochelle, Arnell. It's awesome to see all of you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I think I got everybody. If not, I don't understand how to use Zoom properly. Sandali. Hi. Well, yeah, again, thanks for joining us for the call today. And I wanted to give maybe just a quick sort of scene setting, opening remarks, and update on where things are. You've probably heard by now about this ongoing humanitarian reset. Even if you haven't heard about that, you're definitely aware of the challenges that the UN system is facing right now. For sure, it's probably the most challenging period for the UN since it was founded. A lot of this was initiated by the US government, but in fact, it's a crisis that is global in nature with many governments around the world. And we're just in the middle of this reset right now. So actually next week, OCHA, which is the part of the UN that I work for, will have a new organizational chart. We'll have some staffing cuts that are announced, and we'll start to see the beginning of a new humanitarian system. It will be a very different system. If you sort of think about our next quarterly call, our Q3 call, we'll be talking to each other after some of these changes have taken place, where we see a lot more clearly what that system is going to look like and then which countries the UN will withdraw from. And I don't want to make it over dramatic or oversell it, but it is really a seismic change in the humanitarian system and the international system, and that the post-World War II order is coming maybe to an end. There's lots of converging trends right now, including population dynamics and climate change and a more nationalist drift in global politics, challenging of multilateral institutions. So, we know these things are coming. These are big changes coming to the humanitarian system. OCHA's Undersecretary General, our top official this week, told the Security Council that the humanitarian system needs to regroup, reform, and renew. And by regroup, it means we have to get smaller, and we are going to get significantly smaller. By reform, I think everybody understands that, sort of changing the way that we operate, being more efficient, really being able to explain to the taxpayers of the world how we use their money as a UN system and what we're contributing to. And of course, there's renew. We have to sort of redefine what we do and get better at delivering it and think about how we can utilize cash and innovations. I think most importantly, and again, this is something that our Undersecretary General says many times, we have to emphasize devolving genuine power to local partners. So, that really does mean that the national and regional systems will lead humanitarian response and recovery. And the international system is going to come in very sparingly and only with limited resources. As the USG said, local response whenever possible, international only when necessary. And the system as a whole is definitely going to be focusing on fewer countries, including countries that are here today, like the Philippines. We know that we're going to have a significantly shrunken footprint in the Philippines, but also that may be a natural process. In fact, the Philippines is sort of exporting their assistance around the world right now. So we know that the system is being changed significantly. It's very challenging, but the good news is that the CBI member networks are really perfectly positioned, not just to grow, but to thrive. And we're really trying to aggressively position CBI member networks as the natural partners for national governments, regional bodies, and international bodies on coordinating with the private sector for response and development. On the OCHA side, we're moving into a different division. There's an OCHA reform happening. We're going to be part of a new division called the Finance, Partnerships, and Communications Division. But one of the things that division focuses on is the delivery of the local funds. And we really want to aggressively make the case for local funding going to and through CBI member networks. We're also probably the only part of OCHA and the whole UN I can think of right now that's actually expanding our team. We're adding focal points for coordination and member network engagement in Panama and Barbados, in Nairobi, and we're actually in talks with 2 governments to possibly add a post in New York and another one in Doha. So we do want to have like a sort of large expansion of the CBI presence and the OCHA ability to engage with the private sector around the world. And we really want to focus on developing SOPs and agreements that formalize the member network role in disaster management in their countries. So even if there's no UN system and even if there's no CBI, we want to make sure that the sustainability here is that we are working towards formal recognition of CBI member networks in your countries. So we're going to continue to invest in growing CBI. We want to build on and expand and support your work and the partnerships that you have. We especially want to focus on expansion in countries that are prone to crisis. And we want to strengthen the member network offering. We want to strengthen the support we're actually providing to you in terms of capacity building and support. Now, I'll be honest, and our funding as it is right now will run out at the end of 2026. But we have a really good runway. I mean, that's a year and a half. It's more than most projects in the UN system. It's more than most people actually in the humanitarian system right now. And we do plan to work with all of you to sort of stand up a fundraising approach. We want to think about how we can raise more funds for our work, diversify our donors, and I think we're well positioned to do that. And also for the work of all of our member networks. We're looking at a lot at sort of putting in cooperative proposals that include funding for member networks in those proposals. At the end of the day, the CBI program exists really to support the work that you guys are doing. We really look forward to your presentations today. For me, it's always like the best part of the quarter to be exposed to the work that all of you are doing. But we also really welcome your advice and feedback on what we're doing as CBI, as a secretariat, and how we're supporting you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any other member of the member network team, you see many of us on the line today at any time. We are entering into our 10th anniversary year next year. There are a lot of challenges ahead. There's a lot of questions about the future of the UN. You can't really hide from any of that. But I actually am quite confident that the CBI program, we're pretty well positioned to meet the moment, and I think even grow and thrive in this moment. And I hope that we can really make the case for accelerating the work that we've all been doing for the last few years on increasing that role for the private sector in humanitarian response and disaster management and preparing for disasters and recovering from disasters. So there's a lot of work that we can be doing, and I look forward to doing it with all of you. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop droning on now. Over back to you, Anik, for our presentations.
Thank you, Kareem. And I'm going to give it over to Sadhana now to guide us through the member network updates.
Thank you, Kareem, for a wonderful introduction, also providing background on the humanitarian context as we stand. Good afternoon and good evening to member network colleagues. Thank you for joining despite a very busy schedule, particularly for even colleagues from the Pacific where it's beyond work hours and it's in the evening. I'm also happy to note that I have now met everyone in this call in person. Back in the days when I joined, I only knew everyone through online. So I'm happy to note that I now know everyone. The humanitarian sector, while it's going through many changes, private sector engagement remains a priority, and the work that you all do remains a high priority. On that note, it would be great to know all the good work that all of y'all have done through the first quarter of this year. We're already in the second quarter. I'll call perhaps on the alphabetic order of all based on countries, the member networks. Karunesh, it's over to you first, as always, Fiji Business Disaster Resilience Council. Do you like to give an update? You're on mute at the moment. Just check if it could be unmuted.
Bula.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Bula, we can hear you loud
Yeah.
and clear.
Bula to you all from Fiji. I think they said this is where the day begins, so we are ahead in terms of timeline as well. And I think it follows suit. We get a chance to present first. So just with the quick few slides, that's there. I'll probably move to the next slide, Sadna. So Fiji Business Disaster Resilience Council. And for those of you who have not been acquainted with Fiji Business Disaster Resilience Council, just very briefly, our theme that was coined some years ago, I think after I took over chairmanship of the council, is resilient businesses ready for tomorrow. Our mission is to provide a platform for the private sector to both manage impact to themselves, support public sector, civil society, and development partners in building climate resilience and preparing for and responding to disasters and emergencies. Our works is pretty much focused around preparedness, risk reduction, response, and recovery. Fortunately, and touch wood, better be careful when I say this, ever since I've been the chair, we've not had major disasters. I think the worst one we've had was in 2016. Fortunately, we've not had anything of that sort in the recent years, and I hope the same continues. If it does, we are in trouble. The country as a whole has lost a lot of people post-COVID, a lot of people who've migrated or moved over to Australia, New Zealand, other Pacific Island countries, and we lack manpower support. So as infrastructures, I work for the energy sector. I'm constantly in discussion with our development partners to see if, apart from financial assistance, we are able to get some technical assistance and mobilize people who are able to come to Fiji and assist us come a disaster. These are some of the areas we work in, but I'm not going to bore you with it, and hopefully share with some of the plans that we have or activities that we have done. We'll move over to the next slide. Thank you. So very quickly, just with some of the activities that we have done since the beginning of this year, and I just want to make sure that I've got the year correct. We had launched a cyclone tracking map with the National Emergency Contact Information number on it and a calendar. This is something that we have done second time in around last year or 2024. We had done something similar. 2025, we have done this thanks to the support we got from CBI to be able to execute this. We've reduced the number of documents in circulation or the information that was there. But we distributed to the school system, and we had printed 30,000. So we'd like to believe that it has gone to 30,000 homes where students live in on and shared with the family. We were also fortunate that we were able to prepare a disaster preparedness video for the business community, for the private sector as a whole. And there's a link there. Please feel free to share and have a look at and make any comments. That too, thanks once again to CBI for the support. It's all the support that you provided. We were able to do some of these things. We prepared for it last year, but it continues on in 2025. There was a newspaper article that was published in the Fiji Sun, the local, one of the two dailies in Fiji. It has a circulation of about 30,000 in the weekend as a whole. We're a small country. I'm thinking we're about 800,000. The census, last census said just over 900. February, we had our regular meeting. We were also invited to a number of climate-related activities and events. So I'd attended the Quality Assurance for National Energy Information Management System and Energy Statistics workshop. I guess this is to look into the emissions and things of that sort that we emit and how we can bring them into control. There was a National DRR Committee meeting and a special welcome and a Q&A with the UN Special Representative, Mr. Kamal Kishore. I'm also glad to inform, and I'm pretty sure I've done this in the past, but there's the new National Disaster Management Act of Fiji that got endorsed in November or gazetted in November. Has a provision to have the chair of the Fiji Business Disaster Resilience Council as a member of the National Disaster Risk Committee as a whole. That's the first of its kind, and I think legally, I don't know if any other private sector body is listed to be part of any public committee of this sort. So it's a big one for FBDRC. I think at one stage, whilst we were pushing, I think for a while I said, let's leave it. Let's start working on a relationship and doing things together. And all that has come to fruition early this year, I guess, as it was announced. So that's with that. And we were part of that meeting as a whole. In the afternoon, we were fortunate that we were the only private sector body that was able to host a Talanoa discussion session with the Assistant Secretary General and UN Special Representative, Mr. Kamal Kishore, on Thursday, 6th March, where we could ask questions. He had a little presentation, and we were able to discuss issues that relate to the Pacific. So is it climate change that we need to focus on, or is it disaster risk mitigation as a whole? April, we had a workshop on capacity building of energy sector stakeholders in greenhouse inventory preparation and NDC tracking as a whole. So quite often, and I'm not sure if I'm in a good position or no, but by virtue of being in the energy sector, we get pulled out for any climate issues as well. And we only import 10% of the total fuel that's used in Fiji. But because it's a sector, it's a corporate organization, we get pulled in. So we share our side of things and hope that there'll be funding support to be able to eliminate some of these. In May, we were wanting to have a information session with the acting director, NDRMO, and I'm pretty sure I've updated the team, but unfortunately, we've lost the former director, NDMO, who's migrated to the US, and we've got acting director now. The position's up for grabs. So if someone's interested, you can always apply and come and join the Fiji National Disaster Risk Management Office. Working with NDRMO, as they are known now, we are hoping to launch a business disaster resilience toolkit We want to do a few surveys before we do that. So we are hoping to be able to get it done later in May, if not early June. So that's probably just some of the activities that we have done for now. I'll probably move on to the next slide. So there on the left is the cyclone tracking map with Fiji there and the radius and which way the cyclone's coming. In the middle is the newspaper clipping that was published on 11th January. And on the right, we have the UN resident coordinator, Mr. Dirk Wagner, in the middle with the display materials that's out there. Next slide, please.
Karunesh.
Sorry, I think I pressed mute. That's Mr. Kamal Kishore there with the members of the Fiji Business Disaster Resilience Council soon after the presentation. And my last slide. The team at FBDRC, unfortunately, there's only two of us for now. Myself as chair, and I've got a vice chair, Nishanta Fernando. We had a very active FBDRC coordinator. Unfortunately, we don't have a services for now. We are hoping to be able to rehire her at the earliest possible, and we'll see once that happens. I guess it will increase the pace and momentum of our activities. While Sadhna said, that some of us they are after hours. I think a lot of these things we do is on a voluntary basis anyway, so we need to spend extra time and effort to try and get some of these things done apart from the day job that we are in. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Karunesh. It shows that the FBDRC, or Fiji Business Disaster Resilience Council, continues to thrive. It is indeed quite astonishing that you're part of the National DRR Committee meetings on a regular basis. We hope to hear updates from that sometime, and I look forward to working with you on the launch of the Business Disaster Resilience Toolkit. I did join the call with Kishore, and it was amazing, Mr. Kishore Kamal. And then we hope Priscilla will rejoin, but I do understand she's part of FSF right now. Is there any questions for Karunesh? If not, and if Karunesh is okay, we could move on to Indonesia, Ibu Yani. But before that, any questions for Karunesh? Okay, I don't see anyone with their hands up, so perhaps later. Over to Ibu Yani.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sadhana. Thank you, Riza and Karim. I would like to start with this is the picture, sort of like this is the inauguration of new what you call it, new a member of Kadin, on January. So under the new leadership, as you know, because of the political situation in Indonesia, Arsad didn't make a term until 5 years. So after 3 years, he has to go down, and then the position has been taken by Anin, And then this is on the new leadership, and luckily I'm still, I don't know whether it is luckily or unfortunately, I'm still the vice chairman of Kadin for Social and Disaster Management. So this is the inauguration was taken in January. And then on this new team, I have more what's so-called the quite diverse team who are sitting on my board, for the social and disaster management. I think they are more eager, a lot of young blood, and then different background of businesses, different background of professional though all of us are volunteer. Next, please. Okay, this is the BNRF socialization. I think this gonna be the last program between the Chamber of Commerce with the USAID and USAID Quad, which is funded by the USAID. So this is taken on February, but after that, as you know, we all have a problem with the Mr. Trump. So our program been stopped, after this program. And luckily, this is toward the end of the program on BNRF. And we continue, we have managed to continue our BNRF. We finished already our module for BNRF. After this meeting is sort of like socialization. On this meeting, we invited the SME because this BNRF, it's for the small and micro businesses, not for the medium and big businesses. So we did socialization. We invited the businesswoman. We invited also the association who relate to this business. Okay, next. Okay, on February, our new team, we did what's so-called team building and swift water rescue awareness. We did this on the facilities which is belong to Ibu Yuni, and our team, I think almost 85% of our team joined the team building and swift water rescue awareness. So at least, because flood is the biggest disaster in Indonesia, if things happen, at least we know how to protect ourselves. We know how to secure ourselves before we are helping others. This is something that we learn apart from the team building. And one thing that I noticed after this team building, we are more open, and then team is becoming very cohesive. And though if there is an activities, everybody will jump in the team. So this kind of thing is quite useful for the cohesiveness of the team building. Okay, next. Okay, this is again, we do the testing, and we are using the facility from our members, Ivan, the one who sit on the left side. This is his restaurant. So he's contributing to, we did like about 1 day exercise on the BNRF. And we asked the SME, the participant, how to then identify the business risk related to the disaster. And we also asked them how to fulfill all what they need, if there is disaster happen. And it seemed like the BNRF that we built, it's quite understood. And we found out that our syllabus, our system is more to the SME, small businesses rather than micro one. Because when we do the testing on the micro one, using at that time funded by the Kadin Kuat, USAID, we found out that some of the member did not understand, how to fill in. But when we do test it in the small businesses, I would say like 95% of them are understood about our system, the system that we built together with the USAID Quad. Next, please. Okay, this is the flood. During the flood, we did work closely again because we are like Indonesian Red Cross has a very quite range of the branches. They have all the volunteer in almost every area, and we work closely with them. The Kadin, the one who call us, the businesses such as at that time we collected from the Pizza Hut, from the KFC, and even from our members and from others businesses, we are able it was like a big flood in Jakarta and then surrounded area Bekasi, Sukabumi, and also landsliding. And then that was during Ramadan, you know, which is not easy for them to cook and everything. We provide food, bread, and even we donate also what do you call it, like rubber boat, you know, for those who need. So that's what we did during the flood, our response to the flood. Next. All the numbers participant affected, and then how we help, you know, the number is over there. So this is me and Uni joined the CBI. Thank you very much. Now we learn a lot on this meeting. I think to me, especially this is the best meeting or the best conference that I attend, the CBI that I attend on the CBI activities, you know, because during this meeting, I learned a lot how to coordinate with other players and what to do also. What is our advantage? What is our advantage? What sort of role that Kadin should play, you know, during the if the what you call it, the disaster happen. So on this meeting, I learned a lot, and how also to deal with others institution. So I think this is, to me so far, this is the best. But I don't know if there is others. Maybe others will be even more challenging, more interesting. Okay, next. So I only include all the activities up to the April, but on May, I think May I will put on the next what you call it, next quarter meeting. On the May, I do have a lot of activities, and we have a meeting with IOM. IOM is also said that they are. I said, you know, how they can do that, and then a quite interesting approach with IOM. They are going. They are asking Kadin to be the partner, and then they are looking the funding, because we are talking all of us right now. We have a challenge. One of the challenge is the resource fund, and then IOM said that they are looking the funding from Europe, and then from Australia, from China, and even from the Middle East. That is what the IOM did. And then, you know, I just got the email from the IOM. IOM wants Kadin to sit at the, what you call it, sort of like the supervising committee for the project that they're gonna run. So, and during the May also, thank you very much, especially from the PDRF and Sedana, who are coming to Indonesia. Unfortunately, Riza couldn't come, you know. We were waiting for Riza, and then last minute Riza canceled, you know. And we were so eager to see all of you. But Veron and Arnel and Sedana, and we run the what you call it, the hybrid meeting with all the Kadindas, and the response is quite good. And I think we're gonna do it again. The hybrid seems like during this kind of meeting, hybrid is the most effective one, you know. For those in the area, we don't have to invite them to come to Jakarta. Meanwhile, of course, once we are right now, me and Pak Suwandi, who are in charge with the resources development in Kadin, end of June, we're gonna run the golf tournament to raise fund. And then again, because this is again new term, I somehow, that's why when Riza said, how come my face is not smiling, you know, after listening the PDRF, I was thinking too hard how to create, you know, like how to make the the foundation, the Kadin Foundation happen. It seemed like still a long way to go, you know, especially after the new, given the situation, international situation, and then the national situation, the economic situation. I'm sure I know exactly that I'm gonna face a lot of challenge, but see from there. But I will not give up. you know, I still want to create what's so called the VBDOC. Still on the top of my mind, you know, but I think perhaps I have to move. I have to a little bit be patient. I have to create what you call it, like looking for fun first, and then start from there. And by the end of this May, also we are going to invite all the businesses who are somehow have a program related to the disaster. So we're gonna create what you call it, like what you call it, not, you know, for the VBDOC. We're gonna invite the businesses, and then later on other players, you know, like the NGO and other institutions who are dealing with the disaster. So we're gonna develop from there. You know, we wanted to have a strong foundation first before we end up finally building the VBDOC. Creating a platform is one thing, but maintaining and then connecting with the strong basis, all the players, is other thing. So we're gonna create from that first, and then after listening from PDRF. So I think our step is creating all the network first, you know, build the strong leadership, and then we're gonna develop the platform from there. Again, Arnel, Vernon, I know you are there, and Sedana, thank you very much. Thank you, Riza, for make that thing happen in Indonesia. All we are excited to see this thing happen. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibu Yani, for providing a full update on the quarterly. And yes, it was lovely meeting you in May, end of April, early May. And I'm so glad that we are all at CBI glad that PDRF and Cardin will be starting to work together. Any questions from anyone or would like to add on? No, we're good? Okay, I don't see any hands up, but if not, if there is, let me know. On that note, I'd like to recognize two prospective members who have joined the call. Abu Naim, representing the Federation of the Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries, as well as Gordon from the Solomon Islands Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Mr. Abu Naim and Mr. Gordon, would you all like to share some words? We hope that both Solomon Islands and Chamber Bangladesh will become member networks this year.
Thank you, Sadhana. We had the opportunity to meet face-to-face in the last meeting in PDRF and in the ministerial conference also in Philippines. I just like to connect one thing. Karim was telling about this. I mean, the UN, the OCHA is being reformed or something. That is very important for us as well. Because recently, what we are facing a problem, you might be knowing it, that in Myanmar, the refugee is, the influx of refugees coming to Bangladesh. We already had, over a period of almost 30 years, we are having refugee problem with Myanmar, because with about 10 lakhs refugees there, and within this short period of 6 months or so, more 1,20,000 refugee came into Bangladesh, and really it is a we have welcomed them, because on humanitarian ground we need to protect them, and however, so this is a burning issue for us. At the same time, we are lucky that the Antonio Guterres, last month he visited us in Bangladesh. He came down and stayed for a couple of days, and he also visited the camp of this Myanmar refugee, and he also requested that there are two problems. One is managing the refugee. Another is the people are displaced in Myanmar, where UN needs to support them, and they need a corridor as well. for logistic support and other movement of, and they have requested Bangladesh to do something about it. And we are very seriously thinking on this issue. So this is one of the aspects. Another aspect, this private sector, especially from the knowledge that we gain in PDRF, really that helped me also. And we are trying to implement some of the things. And in 3 of our chamber area, in the 3 districts, we have already created PART. It's a private sector emergency response team consisting of 40 people from the community to deal with disaster. There is more of the local disaster that they'll be dealing with it. And we are enhancing their capacity in terms of equipment, knowledge, and side by side, the coordination that is needed. So, and besides that, another good initiative of the UN is the BPSWC, Bangladesh Private Sector Working Committee, which was the initiative of, in fact, the UNRC. And recently we'll be having this, it was a little going slow down because, you know, the changes of the regime in Bangladesh has taken place. And Dr. Yunus, the Nobel laureate, he is now in the power and fixing up many things altogether. Reform is going on, and people are in support of this. And hopefully we'll be doing it within a short period of time. By next December to June, the election will take place in our nation. And this UNRCO has taken initiative to again reactivate our Bangladesh private sector working committee. And day after tomorrow on 26th, we will be having a meeting with all the participants from all the private sector community. So this is a progress. And hopefully we, as you have said, we are looking forward. Even we were thinking, well, because business continuity plan, what we learned from PDRF, and actually from, we also made a request to PDRF for whatever the existing tools they have. If they share it, possibly that will be an added advantage for us, because we are trying to develop these tools for the chambers that I have already mentioned, the 3 chambers. So this is the thing that I want to do. I appreciate your initiative. I appreciate that to become a member of CBI. Definitely we will be helping each other and we will be benefited. Thank you for this good initiative. Thank you, Shadana.
Thank you, Mr. Abunayem. We do look forward to getting back in touch with you on a regular basis and learning more about the private sector emergency response team, as well as the meeting on the 26th. Gordon, if you're online, please do, if you'd like to share some words, feel free to, and congratulations in being elected as the Vice President of the Chamber, Solomon Islands Chamber of Commerce and Industries, as well as another year with the Resilience Council.
Thank you, Sadhana, and hello, everyone. Just like to say it's a pleasure to be able to join this update meeting and to hear the different updates from the different regions. Hopefully, in the next quarter, we can join the same meeting as a member of the CBI network. So we're looking forward to that. But otherwise, thank you very much, everyone, and looking forward to hearing more updates from you. Thanks.
Thank you, Gordon and Mr. Abunayem. In the interest of time, we're almost going over time now. If possible, for upcoming member networks to keep the updates short and sweet, but we will follow up individually and get the detailed update, because we really do like hearing updates on how the member networks are performing and progressing. Next is the Philippines Disaster Resilience Foundation, and I call on Veron. Good to see you, and
Hi, Sadhana.
I hand it over to you.
Thank you. Allow me to share my screen.
Yes.
So you see it now.
It's loading. Just give one more minute. Yes, we can see it. And I can see myself being very, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So good afternoon
ahead.
and good evening, good day to everyone. A quick update, and let me start with our Jakarta mission. And we really would like to thank Sadhana for the support and also for being with us, especially in facilitating the AHA during the AHA Center Executive Leadership Program. So we also would like to thank the warm reception and the hosting of Iboyani as we met with the Kanin Network, and reacting to your presentation a while ago, we are very much in support of your plan to come up with your virtual BEOC. Arnel and I are talking on the side. We will soon set a meeting with you to discuss and support you on that one. So don't worry, it's not going to be very complex. We'll make it as simple as possible, but very functional. So that happened in Jakarta, and we also provided learning sessions about the private sector engagement during the AHA Center ACE program, covering or having the participants from the 10 ASEAN countries. So next is, this is a very big effort right now in our country, as a lesson from the Myanmar earthquake and in Bangkok. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DNR, has been tasked by our Department of National Defense to lead the earthquake resilience planning, review of the resilience planning, earthquake plans of the country. And during this meeting, the secretary met with PDRF a couple of times to see how we can work together. And they got inspired by how we worked during COVID. So the premise is simple. Instead of overwhelming everyone to have a big meeting together, we will work in parallel. So the private sector will have our coming from the national mandate. We will work on our path in parallel with the government, and at some point we'll have milestones meeting for alignment, and then carry on for the next action plans, and then so on and so forth. So that's precisely how it's going to run, and we are very fortunate to be tapped to one of the movers for the private sector. So this happened last May 15. And after that, we are now calling on our member companies to also discuss within our network how we can work with the government for the National Task Force for Earthquake Resiliency. So this is going to happen next week. Arnel will be leading this initiative, and in that discussion, we will have an inventory. We will have an inventory of the earthquake resilience initiatives among member companies, and also to test and draft the sectoral plans, especially focusing on the lifeline utilities, facilities, and critical infrastructure. We will also discuss about expanding standby agreements through pre-agreements to ensure rapid mobilization. And lastly, to strengthen the participation of the private sector as the government now looks into harmonizing the national contingency plans. And in October, we will have a national simulation exercise coming from all these planning that's happening right now. Another aspect of this meeting is also part of the preparation is also looking at working with the government in reviewing the big one, or the 72 magnitude earthquake in the Philippines. So M. Myers will be reviewed. It's going to be a 2-year project with JICA, but in the meantime, I think we have enough new information, science-based information that we can work on, and that's precisely what the government is planning to do, and hopefully we'll be testing that in October. The last slide. Oh, let's see the last slide. Sorry, I think that's my last slide. So I have a couple without any slides, but let me just tell you that we are also going to have an MOU signing with AHA Center to renew our agreement and our partnership. That's supposed to happen in May, but will have to be pushed to June because Butch is still promoting his book in the US, but we'll be back soon. And lastly, I have been fortunate to be invited as a panelist in one of the sessions in the GPDRR in June. This session is hosted by Gates Foundation and Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies. We will be talking about surviving the funding freeze, adaptive strategies for local leadership. So I've given Riza a heads up about this. I know that a number of our network will be in Geneva for this event, and I hope to be connected with them so we can support each other and discuss how we can move forward with all the CBI plans that we have. But basically, just to say hi, hello to everyone and attend the sessions where they will be speaking. So that's it for the update from PDRF. Thank you.
Thank you, Veron. Regarding the earthquake preparedness measure, congratulations in getting it going forward, a much needed effort at this point, as well as congratulations for being invited as a panelist for the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction, GPDRR. If there's no question for Veron, and in the interest of time, I'll give a quick update on our member network, Pacific Island Forum Secretariat. Our colleague Carlos Lee is traveling at the moment, but his updates, because PIPS is a regional member network, the update is a combination of both Vanuatu and Fiji. And Vanuatu, Ilyu will provide an update after Sri Lanka. On that note, I invite Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management, Rochelle, to share some update. Harsh is currently traveling and is in a conference in Brussels, Europe, where he actually met OCHA colleagues as well. But I will hand over to Rochelle, and thank you, Rochelle, for stepping in and providing an update.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Sadhana. So I'm keeping my video off because it's raining heavily over here and I want to keep my connection stable. So if we can just start the slides, Sadhana, and then I can explain the activities.
Perfect. Just a sec. Nara and Anik, can I ask your help to share the slides?
Yes, just 1 second. Okay. Okay, should be there.
Perfect. One more to front. For Asia Pacific Alliance, there we go.
Thanks, Anik. So as we all know, on the 20th of March, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit central Myanmar. Within hours, APAD International mobilized itself. We partnered with an agency called GEA which is a Turkish Interag certified search and rescue team, and they were deployed to Bangkok on the 29th of March. I want to take this moment to thank CBI, especially Reza and Sadhana, for their coordination support in sending GEA into Myanmar, for also connecting us with the Interag officers and providing incredibly helpful updates throughout the entire process. So just a quick update on the response itself. On the 5th day, that's April 1st, the team achieved their first breakthrough. They located a 26-year-old hotel employee under the rubble of a hotel called Ai Chantha. A day later, they also rescued another survivor, a kitchen worker from that same hotel, and he was safely extricated as well. Beyond rescue, the team also helped with training and psychosocial support. They conducted a Living with Earthquakes workshop and drill, I think with the local fire department. They also handed out aid packages and organized games with the children of the affected community to attempt to bring back a sense of normalcy. Back in Japan, our sister organization, Peace Wings Japan, also deployed an emergency response team composed of doctors, nurses, and logisticians and coordinators. And they were stationed in Bangkok. So the gentleman you see on the bottom right corner with the red jacket, he's Dr. Inaba. He's the project leader of ARROS, our Search and Rescue International team. So back to Myanmar, as we know, the healthcare system was already strained way before the disaster happened. So after the earthquake struck, it depleted their capacity even further. And also due to certain government restrictions, it was very difficult for the medical team to obtain visas and enter Myanmar immediately. But somehow, after 1 week, the team entered and set up a field clinic at the epicenter in Sagaing. They spent about 2 weeks treating nearly 200 patients. They also provided basic supplies like food and hygiene products. They also gave like blankets, mosquito nets, etc. Back home in Sri Lanka, the government of Sri Lanka pledged 1 million USD and deployed 3 military teams focusing on rescue, relief, and medical support. Particularly to support the medical teams, the Disaster Management Center requested APAD Sri Lanka to tap into our private sector networks to procure the essential medical supplies. So through our pharmaceutical partners, we managed to ultimately double the requested quantity of supplies, and we handed it over to the DMC within 24 hours. Sadhana, next slide, please. Oh, Nick. Since our last quarterly meeting, we had a series of international engagements. APAD was represented at the AVPN Southeast Asia Summit that was held in Singapore. This was our second AVP conference that we attended in person. We also continue to participate in the Airlink regional coordination calls. This time, the thematic area was on cyclones in the Asia Pacific. We also saw PDRF sharing their insights on how to deal with cyclones. From APAD side, we shared how we prepare for the monsoon through our DRR and search and rescue trainings. Of course, APAD also participated in the CBI workshop. It was held in Istanbul, focusing on developing guidelines for private sector disaster response and coordination. We were incredibly happy to see one of our co-partners, Aidconspense PLC, represented by Ms. Keishani De Silva. When I spoke to her, she spoke very highly of the workshop and said that she was very interested in applying her new learnings to Aidconspense's co-operations, and we will follow up with her on afterwards. APAD also signed the Climate and Environment Charter for humanitarian organizations. This was to reiterate our commitment to not only advocate for among our partners, but also to reduce our own emissions and really be aware of our environmental impacts through our operations. And finally, like Sadhana mentioned, right now, Hush is attending the European Humanitarian Forum. It's held in Brussels. He is a panelist discussing the economics of This panel discussion is on discussing the economics of environmental and climate action, and also on exploring how to get non-traditional donors to invest in DRR. Sadhana, next slide, please. Thank you. So highlighting some of our local operations in Sri Lanka, an APAD team recently visited the Delft Island in Sri Lanka. It's located off the coast of the Jaffna Peninsula, so that's like the northernmost part of the country. So while the island has immense tourism potential, they face significant development challenges, and they are highly vulnerable to climate-related hazards. Part of the reason why development has been slow in this particular island is because of the access, because the only way you can access the island is through this ferry boat that's shown in the picture. So findings from this visit were compiled into a report, and it was shared among our private sector partners, key government officials, and bilateral donors like JICA, ADB, and also the World Bank. This was to raise awareness on the urgent development needs of the Delft Island. And then the middle picture, you can see search and rescue training. So to enhance monsoon preparedness, APAD conducted a swiftwater search and rescue refresher training. And this training was uniquely embedded in a local water sports competition of, again, one of our co-partners, Capital Maharaja Group. So the volunteers, we had about 12 volunteers who were trained. And our private sector partners generously supported or sponsored rather segments of the training, and they are increasingly showing eagerness to take leading roles in our operations, which is great to see. Currently, discussions are underway to develop SOPs for private sector deployment and also to enhance monsoon readiness. We'll keep you guys updated once the SOP is created. On the top left corner, or top right corner rather, you can see two of our staff conducting a flood safety training for one of our leading international schools. This is the second training we've been invited to, and it was actually we were connected with the school following last year's international symposium where they were interested in doing DRR trainings for their students, particularly the junior school students. We've received great feedback on the training, so much so that the children are sort of conducting the experiments that we sort of introduced them to, and sort of sharing their feedback much later onwards, which is great for us to hear about. Finally, continuing our commitment to engaging in climate-related dialogue, APAD served as a panelist at a technical session on Climate Insights. It was hosted by the Association for Disaster Risk Management Professionals. And we were asked to showcase case studies on how the private sector engages in disaster risk reduction. That's it from my end. Thanks, everyone. And thanks, Reese.
Thank you, Rochelle. It's great to know that the workshop or the meeting in Istanbul was surrounded on identifying or drafting SOPs on deploying private sector emergency response focal points. And it's so good to know that Sri Lanka is already working on that front. I would also like to acknowledge, thank you for giving us an update on the Myanmar response and to identify that PDRF as well as number of other member networks, or most of our colleagues are responding to the Myanmar response as well. It shows that the member networks, they support beyond their own country as well. On that note, if there's no questions for Rochelle, can I ask Vanuatu Business Resilience Council, Ilyu, to take it forward? Right. Thank you, Ilyu. Over to you.
All right. Good night, everyone. Hello. I am Eliu, and for those who I haven't met yet, good to meet all of you. I just took office over from my predecessor, Glenn, this year, And this is my first ever network coordination meeting. Glenn could not make it this evening. However, he has passed his greetings to all of you. All right, we'll go to our next slide. And this is the list of the activities that we did for Q1 this year. We've had, on the first one, we've had that 7.3 earthquake on the 17th of December last year. And therefore, the activities for response and recovery all spilled over to January and February and March. And so far, we've supported the efforts of the government through technical assistance. And as well as our members were the ones that were implementing the demolition of the CBD and the rebuilding, and also coordination for spaces for office in town. And also on that, coming into March, we've got Kamal Kishore, the UNDRR roundtable discussions, which took the government and the stakeholders together, especially the newly formed government. And we build on efforts, we take stock, and then we chart a way forward for much better resilient recovery. And then we are also working with the Chamber of Commerce on formulating a new series of business continuity plans for our members. And then that's some of the DRR activities that we've done. And moving on to climate change activities, we also took part in the NDC. The NDC is the National Determined Contributions to the Paris Agreement, and this was led by the Ministry of Climate Change. And it's to do with our climate plan, especially trying to get the government's commitment to achieving 100% renewable energy. And we participated in that workshop to update the plan so it's now not the NDC 3.0, not the NDC 0 no more, but it's an updated plan which will be NDC 3.0. And also we've got funding available to send one of our members to be part of the team that will be updating the plan in Paris. And then we also have the Vanuatu National Advisory Board, or the NAB, which has quarterly meetings, and we also have our member that represents the VPRC that attends the meeting, as well as we are involved with two working groups, which one is climate finance and one is loss and damage. And then we also had a climate finance training, which tried to make the participants to understand and to be informed in climate finance issues and access. And then which leads on to our UN FCCC negotiation trainings. It basically helps especially new officers to train them in negotiations. And it also helps participants that will be planning to go to COP in order for them to be able to have negotiation skills, especially for Pacific Island countries that can better access climate finance from international institutions like the Green Climate Fund. And we also have funds available that will send a member that has gone to that capacity building training to attend COP. And yeah, I think that's basically the short update from VPRC for Q1, up to date. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilio. If not, I think mostly everyone knows Ilio. Ilio is the new chairperson for the Vanuatu Business Resilience Council. My apologies, I should have done an introduction. Ilio took office in late February, early April as the new chairperson, while Glenn remains, I hope he remains, to guide Ilio as well as the VBRC in their agenda on emergency response and resilience going forward. Most of you have already met Ilio. He was part of the Business Emergency Operations Center training, as well as the APMCDRR, or Asia Pacific Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, back in October last year. A big welcome to Ilyu. Thank you for joining and providing an update. And we all hope to continue working with you and your team. Not
Thank
an
you.
easy agenda that you're taking forward, but all the best to you.
Thank
On
you.
that note, thank you. And on that note, if yeah, we've covered all member network updates in Asia and the Pacific. A big thanks to everyone for being here. Please do continue to stay. We have the CBI Secretariat updates coming up. But before that, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone for doing the impact reporting. I know it's not easy. And thank you for being patient with me as well while following up. But all of y'all have provided updates on impact reporting, and I'm very thankful. I and Nara and the entire team is very thankful because once you put the numbers and the context in black and white, it goes on record. And for us, that matters quite a lot in advocating for the good work that all of y'all do. I now pass on to the CBI Secretariat, Anik, Nara, and Riza for updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadhana. Thank you for everyone providing updates. It's been really interesting to hear from all of you. And although this is not the most exciting part of the meeting, but we have some updates from the CBI Secretariat side as well. And I'm going to pass it over to Nara for updates on the very topic, impact measurement and progress reporting.
Yeah, thank you, Anik and Sana, and hello, everyone. Yeah, as said, it's always inspiring to hear the updates from all of you. And as Sadna said, a big thank you to actually 12 member NARCs who have already responded to our impact reporting and the survey. It has been a very busy quarter for many of you, I think, because of your incredible efforts and timely reporting. We are now seeing that in Q1, CBR member networks have been collectively responded to 13 crises and reached an estimated 4.9 million people and mobilized around US $12 million, which is incredible. And if you would like to validate your reports or learn more details about what the other member networks are doing, you can access the tracker to explore the member networks individual pages. I will share the link in the chat box for you to explore more information. And as Sadna said, because of your great work and Sadna keep following up, it's actually for this group, many of you have been very active and kind and they responded to the reporting timely. But in case you haven't done that, you can just scan the QR code or click on the survey to submit your Q1 reporting by Friday, basically by end of this month. If you have any questions or feedback or suggestions anytime, just reach out to me and we'd be happy to schedule a call with you to discuss further in terms of the reporting efforts. Thanks again for the commitment and the collaboration. Over back to Anik. Thank you.
Thank you, Nara. And on that note, I'm going to pass the virtual mic over to Riza for our updates on recent activities and events from CBI. Over to you, Riza.
Great. Thanks a lot, Anik. And hi, everybody. Again, it's always a fantastic opportunity whenever we get to see you. It's always inspiring to hear from you, all of the updates. Again, fantastic work all around. So with the remaining 12 minutes that we have, I'm going to try to skim through this very quickly on the Secretariat updates. So this includes previous and current emergencies. We all know what happened in March, on March 28th, to be exact, during the Myanmar earthquake. Abu Naim have mentioned, or has Abu Naim and also Rochelle have mentioned a few updates related to the Myanmar earthquake, but we all know the 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck near Mandalay, Myanmar, and which had affected over 5 million people. causing widespread destruction all around. So what
Hello.
happened? The State Administration Council, or the SAC, declared an international requested for international support. So that was really the trigger for OCHA as well as other UN agencies and humanitarian agencies to support. And for CBI, you know, we saw everyone in action immediately, from the WhatsApp group asking how we can help. Specifically Sri Lanka, APAD Sri Lanka, working with their partner GEA Turkey, and also PDRF, who convened a virtual briefing for their member companies and also partners. And again, a big thanks to PDRF for allowing us to also co-host that virtual briefing. From CBI side, we came up with an emergency page. Sadhana was in touch with our regional as well as country office OCHA colleagues, and we have also had the chance to speak with the representatives from the Union of Myanmar Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Now, we are continuing our support to the Myanmar earthquake, particularly in providing inputs on private sector engagement for the after action review that OCHA is doing. On Peru, just moving on quickly, what happened is that in March 2025, also, a historic flooding from the Ucayali River devastated the remote communities in eastern Peru. And of course, we all know that we have a very active CBI member network there, Hombro a Hombro. Work closely with the local authorities and their member companies as well to deliver 25 tons of humanitarian aid. What was very special during this response is, it was, if I'm not mistaken, and Ani, feel free to come in as well, is that the communities were very remote. And that's why the response was quite difficult. But Hombro a Hombro mobilized support, provided 600 food baskets as well as hygiene kits in order to reach the severely affected areas. And they also mobilized a couple of their logistics partners, including LATAM Airlines and the Peruvian Navy, to provide support to the affected areas. Yeah, I mean, and if in case you would want to know more information about the previous emergencies, go check out the emergency pages that we have on our website. Now, moving to the recent events, which do not include emergency response, as you have already mentioned, we did the private sector response policy workshop in March here in Istanbul. It was great to see some of you here. And for those who are asking, Riza, you know, why weren't we included in the Istanbul workshop? So the design of the workshop was to really select a few member networks representing the different regions and who particularly have already have a relatively advanced or mature engagement with their national disaster management authorities and also with UN and humanitarian agencies on private sector coordination. So if in case you weren't included in this workshop, you know, we will make sure that your inputs are included as we finalize the draft policy guidelines that we will be developing together with you to formalize how do we actually leverage the expertise of the CBI member networks during emergencies. All right. So again, you know, there would still be opportunities to engage with you and include you, not just during, not just in upcoming events, but also as we finalize these policy guidelines, because at the end of the day, this is really for all of you. Now, after the Istanbul workshop, we also brought together a Chile, the member networks from Chile, from the Philippines, from Ecuador, and also Mexico during the Humanitarian Networks and Partnerships Week. So that was held in March as well in Geneva. For those of you who have been attending HNPWs since the very beginning, let me just say that this year's HNPW has been the most, let me just say, unique. Unique in the sense that there were, it's happening at a time when the humanitarian sector collectively is experiencing challenges when it comes to finances, resources, funding, etc. But as Kareem mentioned, even though we're all experiencing fiscally challenging times, it was an opportunity to get together too. It was an opportunity to reflect on what we call the humanitarian reset. And for the CBI member networks who were there, it was an opportunity to amplify your voices even more, especially during sessions we have supported. Chile and PDRF were able to speak during the CBI hosted sessions on leveraging private sector engagement for humanitarian response, showcasing the story of Desafío Levantemos, and also PDRF's expertise during the session on innovation and technology. And as Sadhana mentioned, and also as Veron and Arnel and Ibuyani mentioned, PDRF and CBI were able to support the regional coordination body in ASEAN, so it's the AHA Center, during their executive leadership middle managers course, training around 20 participants representing the different, I think around 10 national disaster management agencies in ASEAN. All right. So a few more updates. From the Secretariat, we've mentioned in our email, we formally announced that we are actually expanding. The team is expanding. We have just onboarded 2 regional focal points for Latin America, Elisa, whom you all know and have met in previous CBI meetings. And we also have Ms. Carol Sanchez, who will be our regional focal point for the Caribbean. I am sure that you will be meeting them very, very soon in upcoming CBI events. I really wish that we get to a place where we will formally welcome our regional focal point for Africa very soon. Okay, moving on, if we go to the next slide, I think we have updates on the network assessments. Now, this is something I'm personally very excited about because it's been almost a year since we have done the network assessments with you. A big thank you for your patience, for your support in really participating in these in the network assessments. But I don't blame you if you already forgot what the network assessments were about. But it's really a diagnostic tool for us to assess a CBI network. Where are you now currently? What are your current capacities and areas for improvement? Where do we want to, where are you headed to? What is the development journey of a CBI network? It's basically answering the question, like, if you're a CBI network, for example, if Abu Naim, Bangladesh, and also Gordon from Solomon Islands, if the chambers become a CBI network tomorrow, like what will they focus on? Like, what would be the journey for the 2 chambers as the CBI networks in Bangladesh and Solomon Islands? So the assessment is a way for us to understand and come up with a shared vision of how you will develop as a network, whether you're a new network or a relatively senior network, and who has been there from the very beginning. Out of the 20 networks, we've done 14 member network assessments. Thank you very much. 8 reports have been signed by you. From this group, it's Sri Lanka and Indonesia. Again, thanks so much. For the rest, we will reach out to you this week to make sure that the reports are signed and finalized. But really, the target is 100% of the networks completing the network assessment before the end of June. And again, with many thanks for your support, the results will be the basis for what we call the network tier system. So we will relaunch what we call a tier system. It's sort of like a traffic light system to understand where is a CBI network in this, in this development journey, and how we can support you. It's really for us to customize our support to our most valued partners, which is really you, the CBI member networks. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Now, moving on, I'm mindful that we're almost at time. Colleagues, if you can spare a few more minutes, 5 more minutes, just for me to finish the updates on communications and knowledge management. We will share with you a list of key resources that were curated, articles, references, anything that you, for example, if a CBI member network would want to be interested in building an emergency operations center, in SME resilience, right? So we've, and Nara is leading on this work. And thanks, Naira, for sharing in the chat. Like, if you want to read or have access to online materials, case studies, and articles, this is like our curated list of all things about private sector engagement in disaster management. Do check out the references. Do share with your members and partners if helpful. And if you have any feedback, if you think that, Riza, we think that you should feature a case study on Vanuatu, on Peru, on Sri Lanka, and include it in the list. Do let us know. Okay, a few more updates. The OCHA's Assistant Secretary General provided a keynote during the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Foundation event, the Building Resilience Summit, one of their biggest gathering for U.S. For American companies, talking about disaster resilience. And if we haven't mentioned it yet, the ASG has specifically mentioned CBI as a shining example of successful public-private partnerships. So specifically mentioning the CBI member networks in Peru and Mexico. And again, Secretariat colleagues, if you can, do share in the chat the link to the remarks of the ASG. We've also recently launched a case study on logistics with partners such as Airlink and DHL and Kuehne Nagel, and again featuring various works from you on how you act as a credible partner when it comes to providing logistical support during emergencies. But we have a few more exciting stuff coming up. So specifically, the case study on the Philippines journey, the Philippine, how private sector engagement, specifically learning from PDRF's story, how it all started in the Philippines. It will come out very soon in June, and we'll make sure to coordinate with PDRF colleagues on when this will be launched. Many thanks to PDRF, Veron, Arnel, Butch, as well as OCHA in the Philippines for working with us in coming up with this case study. And because it's already end of quarter or almost end of quarter 2, we'll make sure to reach out to you for your submissions, the stories that you want us to feature in the CBI annual report for last year. Okay, and on the last slide, just a few more upcoming activities. A couple of you have mentioned the upcoming GPDRR, or it's the 8th edition of the Global Platform on Disaster Risk Reduction, happening first week of June in Geneva. While the initial proposal was for us to send as many CBI member networks to this event, but for now, we have decided to keep the participation smaller, and we will be sending the CBI network from Peru to represent not just Ombro Ombro, but the entire CBI global community during GPDRR. And of course, congratulations as well to Veron for being selected as a panelist for one of the sessions. We'll make sure to amplify your participation there during GPDRR. We're planning a joint webinar together with our colleagues from UNDRRIs to celebrate World SME Day, which is happening on the 27th of June. And again, this is part of our efforts to make sure that we collaborate more closely with our UN sister agencies and particularly with UNDRRIs, especially that they are also launching a set of tools specifically focusing on SME resilience. We've heard from you during the Istanbul workshop that you're interested to learn from the experiences of Desafío Levantemos, the network in Chile, and also a couple other partners on transparency and reporting. So we'll make sure to also share with you more information once we have the final details already for this upcoming workshop. And lastly, just to say that if you have any suggestions on a specific topic that you want us to discuss, if you want us to convene a smaller meeting focusing on a specific topic, do let us know, okay? I think that's the end of the presentation from the CBI Secretariat slide. So let us know if you have any questions. Again, I'm mindful that we're over time for 5 minutes. Many thanks, colleagues, for joining us. And maybe if we can pull down the slide so that we can see everyone, whoever else is still here. As Curry mentioned in the beginning, this humanitarian reset, the challenges we are facing, it really offers us a timely opportunity to return to our core mandate, to CBI's core mandate, which is supporting and strengthening you, the amazing work that you do. And as we navigate new challenges, new demands, our focus remains on empowering you, the local private sector actors, to lead, collaborate, and effectively respond to crises and help those who are in need. So without further ado, thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to hand it over back to Anik. But again, very happy to be seeing everyone again and looking forward to more opportunities to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you, Riza. Just because I see that Ibu Yani opened her mic, would you like to comment, Ibu Yani?
Yeah, I was, I'm typing the question regarding the World SME Day. What kind of activities, Riza, that the CBI will do?
For now, Ibu, we're planning a joint webinar with UNDRR, ARISE, to celebrate the World SME Day, to talk about the SME resilience tools that they're launching, and also feature some of you during that webinar. Those of you who have been working with small businesses, you in particular with the Kuwait program. So we will be in touch with you. And even beyond the webinar, we will probably come up with some social media campaign to feature the work that you do, particularly on supporting small businesses. So do get in touch with us. We will also reach out to you with more details for the celebration. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu. Karunesh, do you have another question or comment? Please go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Anik. Riza, I was just checking if we'll be having anything in the Pacific this year.
Very good question, Karunesh. Thanks for raising that. We're also looking forward to doing something in the Pacific, as mentioned early this year and even last year. And it's not just in the Pacific, but also for Africa. But again, as Kareem mentioned, we're just really in a very unique position right now, particularly the UN. But for CBI, we have that commitment to do the regional workshops. But for now, given the restructuring and all these discussions on the humanitarian reset, we will slow play for now these activities, but we'll make sure to inform you once we have more clarity on when we can do this, whether is it sometime later in the year, mindful of course of the hurricane season in the Pacific, but we will make sure to give you an update perhaps by end of Q2. Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Any more questions or comments, anyone? I know it's already over time, but please feel free to ask questions if you have them. Otherwise, of course, we can also address all of them with you bilaterally. Okay, I don't see any questions for now. So if that's okay with everyone on the team and you don't like to come in, I'd like to thank all of you for joining today, bearing with us with the presentation, and thank you for joining this Q2 call. Thank you for always supporting us and giving us insights into what you are doing as the member networks. And we look forward to seeing you all in the Q3 call. Yes, and they'll be coming up soon. Otherwise, I think you all have a good evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and whatever time it is in your countries, and see you all very soon, hopefully.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Tommy
Thank
says
you.
hello to you, Riza.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Tommy says
Bye,
hello
guys.
to you.
Thanks. Sorry.
Savani raised
Thanks,
her hand.
Marinesh. Yeah. There you
Savani,
go. Hi. Yeah. Okay, great to see you again. Farnash, take care, huh? It's been a while. Abu Naeem, take
No
care.
worries, no worries. We'll probably just check on the developments with the coordinator
Yes,
for
yes, we will
BDS.
be in
Yeah.
touch. It's moving. I can say that. It's moving. All right. Have a
Okay.
good evening. Have a good
See
evening.
you
Thank you.
Take
guys.
care.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye. Yeah, bye.